Welcome to day 20 where we will be talking about the VPC endpoint. So in day 19 what we had covered this particular specific use case where we saw that how to connect your AWS EC2 instance with S3, and there were two options to connect this, correct? So one option was we had created one public EC2 machine with the internet gateway attached in subnet, it has the route tables where IGW was configured. Then we created config file over there, and with the help of the config file we were able to connect with the S3 bucket. So we passed the access key, secret access key and other stuff. After that there was alternate solution as well. We had one EC2 machine which was the public EC2 machine. We attached one IAM role, and to that IAM role we gave the permission of S3 full access, and we were able to run the AWS S3 ls command. We were able to connect with the S3 buckets, correct? So there were two ways to connect your EC2 instance, public EC2 instance, public EC2 instance. This one you have to notice. Public EC2 instance we were able to connect with the help of IGW and the IAM roles, with the help of configuration and with the help of permission of the S3, correct? So there were two ways. Now we will be seeing how to connect your private EC2 machine with the S3 buckets, correct? So you have to establish the communication or the networking from your server, virtual server, that is your private EC2 machine, to AWS S3 buckets, which are the other AWS services, correct? So we have to establish the networking from EC2 to S3. You can give any kind of permission, but you have to make it private only. You don't have to go up to the internet. So internet gateway will not come anywhere in the picture. Your NAT gateway will not come anywhere in the picture. So what we will see now, we will access S3 from private EC2 without internet and without NAT. We will create one VPC, two public subnet, with one subnet will be having association with the IGW. Why we will create public subnet and one public EC2 machine? To use it as a backend server, because when we will be creating your private EC2 machine, that private EC2 machine we will try to connect from somewhere. We will do the SSH, correct? Because then only we will be able to run your WS3 ls command on private server. So for that we will create one public EC2 machine. So let's directly move to the AWS console. There we will be you will understand in a better way, correct? So what we are going to do, we are going to do creation of private EC2 machine and then making private connection with the S3 bucket. So let's directly move there. AWS console we have come up. Here what I have covered or what I have created already, I have created one VPC, demo VPC. I have two subnets here, private subnet and public subnet. In public subnet I have the route table defined. In the route table I have this IGW associated only, correct? Route table you can see there are public route and private route. In the public I have already IGW associated. In the private route I have only local route, correct? Local route. And then this one I will be removing it. Edit routes, let me remove this. Sorry, let me cancel. Let me click on the edit routes, local, no propagated. Okay, this one I will have to remove. So I will have to delete this endpoint what I have already created. So let me remove this demo endpoint, delete. I will create it for you from the scratch. Now let me go to the private route here. Just let's refresh here. You will see only one route, local, correct? So there is no endpoint till now. So I do have this private route and public route. Now we will be launching one public EC2 machine that I have already covered to save the time. Public EC2 we have, and with the help of this public EC2 we will be connecting our private EC2. So now let's directly create our private EC2 instance. Let's click the launch. This one I will be calling as private. I will be calling as private server. Private server. The same configuration what we used to create every time. The Amazon Linux AMI, the T2.micro instance, and the other networking stuffs we used to keep the same one, correct, every time. So I'm going with the same one. If you are not aware about how to launch your EC2 instance, how to launch your route tables, how to launch your subnet, how to launch your VPC, you can watch out the other videos which are available before this, correct? And then you can come directly here. It will be more easy for you to understand. So I'm selecting the key pair as public key pair. Click on the edit net VPC. I will be selecting the demo VPC where I'm trying to create. I'm trying to create private server, so I'll be going with the private subnet only, correct? So I've created private subnet. Then This is if even if I enable, this is of no use because I am creating my resource private EC2 instance in private subnet, so there will not be any public IP address. So let's go with this. Disable security group. I will be selecting on the private SG what I have already created. So it does not have anything other specific other than the port 22, and with the help of this I can do the SSH, correct. So I'm just clicking on the launch instance, and our instance is ready to our instance has been already launched, correct. Our instance is already launched. Now I will connect this public EC2 machine. Click on connect. It will be connected within a second, correct. And then we will it is already connected, correct. Here if you see I have already created this file. If you see public.pym I have already created. This kpr is nothing but this kpr is for this particular EC2 machine public.pym, correct. This kpr is assigned at launch with this private server. So I have already created this public.pym, and the content of this public.pym file is here. I have already created it on the console side on so that we can save the time. So what I will do, I will now connect my private EC2 machine ssh-i, then the keypair name public.pym, then EC2-user at the rate, and the IP address of your private server. This one, correct. With the help of this private IP, now you will be able to connect your private server as well, because it does not have any public IP address. That's why we have to use the public server. So right now we are on the public EC2 machine. From this public EC2 machine, we want to connect our private server. So if you see 10.0.132, this is the IP address of public one. Now we are trying to move to 10.02.218. Let's do the enter. I will do the yes. And you have been connected to the private server 10.02218. This is the private server IP address, correct. Even you can see from here as well. So we have connected to this private server. If I run the AWS S3 ls command over this private server, you will see it will result into unable to locate credentials. Let me do one more thing here. I will give the access to this S3 bucket, to this private EC2 machine. I will click on the actions. I will get into the security. I will click on the modify IAM role. I will attach this demo role. What does this demo role have? Let me open the IAM role here. Click on the IAM. And I will go to the demo role. You will see that demo role has the permission of accessing S3 bucket. This is the demo role. I have already created to save the time. Imagine S3 full access. It has the access to it has the permission to access your S3 bucket, S3 colon star, correct. What does that mean? If I attach this role to AWS EC2 instance, that means your EC2 instance will have access to communicate with your S3 buckets. It has the permission. We have not established the networking here, but it has the permission right now, correct. So let me click on the update IAM role. If I run the same command once again here, AWS S3 ls, now you will see it does not say unable to locate credentials. You can configure credentials, correct. Now it has the permission to communicate with your S3, correct. It is not it is not denied at the initial level that you does not have permission to connect with S3. Now it has the permission to connect with S3. We have already given the permission, but there is no networking established here. So now your VPC endpoint will come in the picture, from where we will allow this communication to happen in actual. So let me do the control C. We will break the command here. Let me move to the VPC console here. Let me click on the endpoint here, the one what I deleted before. So I will create as demo endpoint AWS service we want to connect, correct. Connect to service provided by Amazon with an interface endpoint or a gateway endpoint. I will be selecting this S3 here because we have to connect with S3 bucket. Gateway type we will be selecting here because we have to connect our S3 bucket. In which VPC we have this private server? We have this private server in the demo VPC. So I'm selecting this demo VPC. In which route table our subnet belongs, the subnet in which our private EC2 instance is there, that is the part of our private EC2 is the part of private subnet, and from private subnet we want to connect our S3 bucket. So private subnet that is associated with your private route. So we will be selecting the private route table here. Let's click on the create endpoint. Endpoint is created. Now if you see in the private route, you will see one entry will be happen here. Click on the refresh button, and you should see one of the entries. So one of the entry has been automatically created here when we created the VPC endpoint. You saw that, correct? There was a route table association as well while creating the VPC endpoint. Now if you run the AWS S3 ls command here, you will not see any error. What does that mean? We have already given the permission. With the help of that, it removed that error. That means it has the permission to access the S3 buckets, but it was not able to do because there was no communication, though there were no bridge established between the AC2 to S3. Although your AC2, which is at one part of your bridge, it had the access to get to the S3, but it had the license, but there were no flight, there were no bridge to go over there, correct? So your VPC endpoint creates a bridge or a flight kind of thing, you can think of in that way, and it established that it just filled the bridge gap, correct? And now your SC2 is able to make the communication with S3. So here I will just try to create one bucket. So if you see, let me search for the AWS S3 service as well. Right now you will see there is no bucket, general purpose bucket, there is no bucket, correct? Let me go there and I will be creating one bucket here. AWS S3 MB is used for make bucket, S3 colon // and the bucket name we will give as demo-1 MQN. So anything, any unique name you have to pass, correct? So let's refresh here and you will see that bucket has been created. Let me go to the buckets. Where is the bucket? General purpose buckets. MQN demo-1 anything with the random name what we given. So if I want to create one more bucket, so I will just give a better name here. So I will just call as Manish demo -1, correct? It is also created. Let me refresh over here and you will see that second bucket is also created. So now your VPC endpoint has come into the picture. This endpoints that what we have created, this VPC endpoint act as a gateway, and it has established the communication from VPC to AWS S3 bucket, correct? So this let's understand from the picture perspective as well how this works, correct? This is the VPC endpoints. So here you have the private subnet. In the private subnet you have the private EC2 machine. There was other way that you can create NAT gateway. That NAT gateway will go to the internet and it will help you to communicate with S3 buckets. While in the VPC endpoint, what we are doing, from the private EC2 machine, we are making the request to the VPC endpoint, and this VPC endpoint is going up to the S3 bucket. So this one is working in the VPC endpoint, correct? Private to S3 with the help of your VPC endpoint. So this is what the use case of VPC endpoint. This is what we wanted to tell you, and thank you for watching this particular video. Stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, and we will meet in the next video with the next another topic. Probably we will be covering VPC peering connection. So till the time, thank you. Bye bye. Welcome to day 21, where we are learning about the AWS tutorial, AWS course, free course actually, and we are starting we have already started our DevOps journey. In this particular video, we are going to talk about the VPC peering. So before VPC peering, what we covered the VPC endpoint, the type of gateway where we tried connecting our S3 bucket with the help of EC2, correct? And we understood the VPC endpoint. If you have not watched out the video till now, you can watch out the other videos which are available on the channel. In this particular video, we are going to talk about the VPC peering. So what we will do in the VPC peering, we will establish the communication between the multiple VPC. So let's directly move to the AWS console, on the browser side, and we will see the flow diagram, how we will establish the communication. So in the VPC peering, we are going to create two VPC, and in these two VPC, we will launch two private EC2 instances. So if you can see, this is the VPC block for the first one. This is the VPC block for the second one. Within this VPC block, we have private subnet, public subnet, and in the second VPC, I will keep only one private subnet and one EC2 instance, which will be the part of private subnet, correct? Here I am creating one public subnet as well. Why I am creating one public subnet as well? Because I want to launch a VASN server from where I will try to connect this private subnet EC2 instance and the second EC2 instance, which is available in the second VPC as well. Initially, when you will try to do the communication between the private EC2 instances from the first one, you will be able to do. But the moment you will try to connect your private EC2 instances, which is in the second VPC, you will not be able to do. For that, you will have to establish the peering between these two. So VPC peering is used for making the communication between two BPCs, correct? So that we will establish here. Let's directly move to the AWS console and we will see how to implement the same thing. Correct. So you have understood the purpose of creating this BPC pairing. It will establish the communication from BPC 1 to BPC 2. It might be in the same region, it might be in a different region. If you don't create any pairing or networking between these two, you will not be able to communicate between these two. We will see that thing as well, and we will see the solution part as well. Now let's directly move to the BPC console. Here I will be creating two BPC, create BPC. So the first one I will call as BPC 1. CIDR I will be putting as 10.0.0.0/16, and let's create VPC. Let me create one more VPC here. Sorry, the create VPC, and this one I will call as VPC 2 with 11.0. Sorry, 11.0.0.0/16. That will be my CIDR for second VPC. Two VPCs are created. Correct. You can see VPC 1, VPC 2 are created. Now let's get into the subnet creation. So we will create one subnet for the second VPC and two subnet for the first VPC. Let me create subnet. Let me select VPC 1. So according to the diagram here, in the VPC 1, I am creating one public subnet, one private subnet, so that I will be launching one backend server as well, and then one private EC2 machine. So let me create two subnets here. For the VPC 1, I will be calling it public subnet, and availability zone I will keep as episode 1A. CIDR I will keep it as 10.0.1.0/24. Correct. Let me add one more subnet here. This one I will call as private subnet. Private subnet preference I will give episode 1A availability zone, and CIDR I will give as what I have given 10.0.1.0. Here I will be passing 10.0.0.2.0/24. Correct. This one will be called as private subnet. Create subnet. So in this particular VPC 0451 VPC 1, I have created two subnets now, public and private. Till this time, these subnets are neither public nor private. Correct. It's just a private subnet now, as of now, because you know the concept. We have to attach the internet gateway. Correct. Then only your subnet will be private subnet. If you see, there is a communication between the public subnet and the internet gateway. There is a route table as well. So we will have to create route tables here as well. Let me create route table. So I'll be creating two route table here, public route, and VPC 1. Let me give the name as well. Select the VPC 1, create route table. So this is the route table for the VPC 1 public route. Let me create one more route table. This one I will call as private route VPC 2. Sorry, VPC 1, because we are creating the private route for the VPC 1 only. I will be launching one private EC2 machine. VPC 1, create route table. This is done. Correct. Let me create one internet gateway, and this internet gateway will be attached to the VPC 1. Correct. So let me create one VPC K1-IGW. Let me create internet gateway. Let me attach this to the VPC, and here I will be attaching it with the VPC 1. Attach internet gateway. Now let me move to the route table. In the public route VPC 1, I will be attaching this, I will be editing the route, and I will be adding the internet gateway here, 0.0. I will select the internet gateway. I will select this IGW, save changes. I will do the subnet association as well. So I will edit the subnet association. I will select the public subnet. Correct. I will do the save association for the public subnet. So what I am trying to do here, I'm covering this part right now. I have created the VPC. I have created two subnet, public, private. For the public subnet, to make it as a public, I have created one route table, and I have associated the internet gateway. So I have created one VPC. I have attached to the VPC 1. This internet gateway I have passed in the route tables. Correct. You can see I have passed in the route table here. Then I have associated this subnet into this route table. That means this one has become the public subnet now. The subnet which is associated here now is the public subnet. Correct. So you can see that. Now let me rename this public subnet name as well. So let me mark it as VPC 1, save, and for the private subnet as well, let me mark it as VPC 1. So these all the things are of the VPC 1. Correct. Public subnet VPC 1. Route tables I have created VPC 1, VPC 1. So now everything is segregated. Now I will be creating second VPC as well, correct? Let me create, sorry, VPC2 we have already created, I just forgot. Let me create subnet for the VPC2 as well. Let me create VPC, sorry, VPC2 I have selected. Let me create one subnet. So I will mark it as a private subnet, private subnet VPC2. Preference, let me give the API South 1A, and CIDR for the second VPC subnet I will be passing at 11.0.1.0/24, correct, 256 IP address. That's it. I will keep this subnet as a private one only. So for that I will require to create one route table. So let me create one route table, and this one I'll be calling as private route, sorry, private route and the VPC 2. Select a VPC. Let's select the VPC2 here. Create route table. Route table is created. Let me associate the subnet as well. So edit subnet association, private subnet VPC2. Save association. Now everything is fine. From the networking perspective, we have done everything. In the second VPC, I have created one subnet. I have associated this subnet with, I have created one route table, and I have associated this subnet as well. Correct? Route table is there. We have created public subnet, we have created private subnet, we have created internet gateway route table, and we have done the association here as well. Now we have to launch the AWS EC2 instances, one public, one let me remove this, and we can use this one only. Command C, Command V, and let me drag it over here. Correct? Yeah, that looks nice. So EC2 we have to create here. So let me put it somewhere here, over here. Correct. Let me drag a bit. You can see, yeah. So we will create this EC2 in the public subnet, then we will create one in the EC2 in the private subnet, and we will establish the communication between these two. Then we will see to establish the communication between these two using the VPC peering. So let me go there and create two of the EC2 instances. Launch instance, and here I will be creating one public server. So let me see if there is any server right now. No. So let me call this as a Bastion server. Bastion server. This one will be our public EC2 instance. Let me select the Amazon Linux as a AMI. The free tier T2.micro. Keep here I'll be using the public one. That's what I am going to use throughout the all the three machines what I will be creating for this private EC2, public EC2, and this other VPC EC2 as well. I will be using the same public key. You can use the different one. This is just for the demo purpose. That's I don't want to repeat the same steps, so that's why I'm using the same key. You can create different one. It will work in the same way. So let's do the networking configuration here. VPC, I'll be selecting the VPC1 for this purpose. I'll be selecting enable because I want to create the public EC2 machine. So here also I'm selecting the public subnet VPC1, correct? Then security group, let me create one here. So I'll be creating as Bastion SG. Bastion SG, I will be naming this, and here I will be passing the Bastion -SG security group, correct? Let me don't do anything. Let me directly move to the launch instance. Your public EC2 instance is created. The moment it will be ready, let me create one private EC2 machine as well. This one I will call as private EC2 VPC1. Remember, it's a part of the VPC1. Same configuration, T2.micro, same key pair I will be selecting. Networking configuration I have to just change. So I will be selecting the VPC1. I will be selecting the private subnet now. And while I am selecting the private subnet, that simply means it will not be having any public IP address. So I will be going with the auto assign public IP as disabled because that is of no use. Either you can select the same security group or you can create new one as well. Let me select the Bastion SG only because it has nothing to do anything, correct? So it will be of the same rule. Or let me create the new one, or you might get confused. So let me call it private EC2 hyphen SG, sorry, EC2 hyphen SG. And here, yeah, one thing will change here. Private EC2 SG, it will change one thing here because I will be using the user data, and that user data message will be prompted on port 88, correct? So I will be using the custom TCP port. I will be mentioning as 80. Source type I will be mentioning as custom, correct? And source I will be mentioning as 00, correct? Description just demo I will be just mentioning as 00 port 80 custom TCP, correct? So that's it. And in the user data, why I am using this protocol or the rule, because I will be passing the user data here, and this user data message will be printed on the IP address of server, correct, while I will be using the IP address. So let me take the user data from here. Where is that? Let me select this. Come on, see, let me go to the browser here. I will be just pasting over here, welcome to VPC 1. Here I will be putting the message as welcome to VPC 1 EC2 instance, correct, VPC 1. And even let me put a private EC2 instance, VPC 1 private EC2 instance. So that message will be printed while you will be clicking on the public IP address. Sorry, when you will be clicking on the private IP address of this EC2 machine, correct, welcome to VPC 1 private EC2 instance, this should get reflected. So let me go there, and let me click on the launch instance. Okay, that's done. Let me refresh it. Let me connect this Bastion server. Connect. And this Bastion, the moment your Bastion server will be connected, what I will do, I will create this PAM key file over my public EC2 machine. That means your Bastion server. And with the help of that, I will try to do the SSH into this private server. Correct. So this one is connected. Let me do the sudo su. Here I will be creating one file. As of now, if you see, there is no file here, correct, I will be creating one. So I will do the vi public dot pam, sorry, dot pam, I will give the name. Here I will do the shift insert. Let me go to the text edit. Here I have this public content of this public dot pam key file. Command C. Let me move there, do the control V, escape, save, and that's it. Why we choose the public.pam? Because it is this is the key which is associated with our private server, and this is the key what we have to configure here, so that we can do the SSH into our private server, correct. So let me give the permission here, chmod 400 read permission to this file public.pam, and we are done. Now let me do the SSH -i, and then the name of the file public.pam, then ec2-user at the rate the private IP address of this ec2 machine, because it does not have any public IP. So let me do the copy, and you just do the paste, and you are ready to connect, correct. So you have connected to this private ec2 machine, correct. Now we are able to connect to this private ec2 machine with the help of your public ec2 machine, which are in the same VPC. These two ec2 instances, the private server and the public EC2 machines are of the same VPC, correct. So we were able to do the communication between these two. Why? Because in the route tables of both there was local configuration. So from the local it can make the request in this destination, and this is the destination for this VPC 11.0 for the for the VPC 1 10.00/16, and this is the route table. That was the for the VPC 2. So in the public route VPC 1, if you see 10.00/16, local can make request up to this destination 10.0. That this is the VPC for your first one, correct, this one. So this route table can make the request for this one as well, this one as well too. The public route VPC 1. Let's check the public route, the private route VPC 1 as well. Even this can make the request from local to this destination, correct. Now let me try the same for the VPC, for the EC2 instance which we will create in the second VPC. Will we be able to make the communication between this EC2 instance which is in the VPC 1 to the VPC 2 or not? Let's see that. Let me click on the launch. Let me create the private EC2 VPC 2 now. Private EC2 VPC 2 now. Same AMI, same T2.micro we will be selecting. Key pair I will be selecting the public one, same one. We can use the same public key pair anywhere. So key pair anywhere. The same configuration. If you are not sure how to launch all these EC2 instances, you can watch out the videos which are available already on the channel. Correct. You can come through the tutorial, the course itself. Networking, I am selecting the second VPC here, VPC 2. Private subnet, we do have only one subnet in the second VPC. If you see private subnet, only one. Let me go to the auto assign public IP disable, because we won't require any public IP. We are just trying to establish the private communication between these two VPC. Let's go with the disable one only. Security group, let me create one here. So I'll be calling it private EC2 VPC 2 SG. Correct. Here also I'll be using the user data, so I'll be going with the port 80. Sorry, not 100, port 80. Custom 00 CIDR. Request can come from anywhere. Description, let me put as demo only. And in the user data, I'll be using the same script here as well. Command V, sorry, let me remove this. I will have to go to the PPT here. Sorry. Yes, on the PPT side, and here I will have to copy this content. Command C. Sorry, let me go to the console browser. And here I will be printing the message, welcome to VPC2 private EC2 instance. Welcome to VPC2 private EC2 instance. Correct, that's fine. Let's do the launch. It is launched here. Now we had used the same key pair, private EC2 VPC1. Sorry, let me go for the third one. This one, private EC2 VPC2. Now even this is running. It also has the same public key pair. Correct. What is changed over here? It is now it is launched in the second VPC. So we have to do the private IPv4 address and the SSH part. Correct. That's it. Now let's try to do the same. Here we are on the we have connected from the public EC2 machine to the private EC2 machine here. Correct. Now let me connect the the public EC2 machine once again in the different browser. So let me click on the machine. Let me click on the connect. One more tab is open. This one is the first. This one is the first one. This is the second one. Correct. Now let's do the sudo su here. We have this public.pym already. So what I have to do? I have to run this command only. ssh-i. Then public.pym, already that file is there, ec2-user @ and the IP address, the private IP address of the second VPC. Let me just copy this private IP address on this browser, command V, and you can see that now you are not able to establish the communication. Why? Because here you had these two EC2 instances, the public one 10.0.1.2.32. If you see from here in the detail, let me open this bastion server in one. Let me open this bastion server. Let me open this private one. This means VPC1. This bastion server is the part of VPC1. This private EC2 VPC1 is the part of VPC1. So you were able to establish the communication from 10.0.1.2.32, which is the bastion server 10.0.1.2.32. From the bastion server IP address, you were able to move to this 10.0.250. Correct. You 10.0.250. You were able to do the communication. Correct. Why? Because both of them were the part of the same VPC. As per the diagram, also you can see these are the part of the same VPC. But when you tried to establish the communication from the VPC1, which is the bastion server 10.0.1.2.32, correct, 10.0.1.2, from bastion to the EC2 instance, which is the part of second VPC, you are not able to do the communication. Why? Because this is of the second VPC. Here you can see second VPC, correct. So till that time we have not created any peering connection, so it's not able to communicate with the second VPC EC2 instance, correct. What we will do now, we will create one VPC peering connection and we will establish the communication between these two as well. Now let's move to the VPC console here. Here you have the option to create the peering connection, correct. So let me go here and let's find out the peering. Where is the peering option? Let me check for the peering. Virtual private gateway, transit gateway. Sorry, let me do the command F. Peering. Sorry, yeah, I just forgot where to see. So let me create on the peering connection, and here I will give the peering VPC1 to VPC2. Select the VPC ID. So here you have to select one VPC as a requester and the second VPC as acceptor. So I will mark VPC1 as requester. It will request to the BPC2 that I am requesting you to make the connection between us. So BPC1 will be requested. Either you are trying to establish the communication between the same account or the different account. So from here you can select the either my account or another account. So right now we are in the same account, so let's select the my account, whether in the same region or different region. So you can establish in the different region as well. Here in the demo we are covering the for the same region, so this region only. Select the VPC, VPC2. VPC1 will be requester, VPC2 will be acceptor. Correct. Let's establish the connection. VPC1, VPC2 pending acceptance by this one. Correct. So status, let me do the accept request as well. So you will see requester VPC VPC1, acceptor VPC2, accept the request as well. Active. So VPC1 to VPC2 communication has been established now. Correct. Now what you have to do, you have to get into the route tables. In the route tables you have to define that these two VPC can communicate with each other. So let's go to the private route VPC, sorry, the public route VPC1. Here in the edit routes, you have to click on the add route. You have to go for the CIDR. CIDR of which? Of the second VPC, correct? As per the diagram, second VPC 11.0/16. So that you have to select. Sorry, what was it? Yeah, 10.0/16. So let me just copy this. Command C. I will just remove this search bar. Here I will just paste it, and for the second VPC our CIDR was 11.0. So I will be just adjusting it. Use 11.0. Here you will be selecting peering connection and the peering connection what you have established. 11.0. What does that means? It will now able to communicate this 11.0. That means second VPC. Let's do the save changes. And the same route I will create in the for the private one as well. We will see the use case of this one as well. So let me click on the add route. Let me add the same destination here. I will just edit this one as well, 11.0, and the peering connection here, same peering connection I will be establishing. Save changes. So what I have made till now, from the BPC1, BPC2 can be requested. Now let's do the same changes for the BPC2 as well. BPC2 can communicate with the BPC1, correct? If I am communicating from here to there, I would also like to do the communication from here to there as well. So let's do the second part as well. Let's select the CIDR for the first one, 10.0/16. Use this one, peering connection, and here select the peering VPC1 to VPC2. Why we have used 10.0? Because for the first VPC CIDR is 10.00/16. So let's save this peering VPC1 to VPC2. Save changes. Correct. So we have created the VPC peering. We have established the communication between these two. Now you will be able to do the SSH. So let's try to do here. What we are doing, we are trying to the same thing now. We are trying to do the connect our second EC2, sorry, the second BPC EC2, the EC2 which is the part of second EC2. We are trying to connect that from the backend server which is the part of BPC1, correct? If you see the IP address 10.0.1232, this is the IP address of this backend server which is the part of BPC1. What we are trying to connect, we are trying to connect this 11.0.135 which is the IP address of private IP address of the EC2 of the BPC2, correct? Now let's try to see whether it will be able to communicate or not. It's able to communicate. You can see EC2 user 11.0.135, it has been connected, correct? So with the help of BPC peering, you are now able to communicate between these two. If I do the curl from these two, just remove the public backend server from the picture as well. If you want to communicate between these two as well, you can do the communication, correct? So let's do the curl from this private EC2 instance for this private EC2 instance, correct? So let's do that. So what I will do, I will run this curl command from this. This is the EC2 instance IP address of the private EC2 instance which is the part of BPC1 10.0.250. If you see 10.0.250, this is the private EC2 of the BPC1. From here I will make the communication for the second BPC EC2 instance, private EC2 BPC2. So curl 11.0.135. Let me try doing that, and you cannot see any message. Okay, so the user data message should come on the public IP side. correct? So anyway, we are not able to do the curl here, but the thing what I wanted to cover, that you are able to do the communication between these two VPCs. You saw that, correct? So we have done the communication from a public subnet to the public EC2 machine to private EC2 machine, which is of the same VPC. Then we have created the VPC peering connection, and we established the communication from this bastion server to this private EC2 machine of the second VPC. So this is what I wanted to explain in this VPC peering demo, and let's talk about the theory part as well here. In the theory part, what is there in the VPC pairing? Let's see that as well. So let me go there. In the VPC pairing, these are the few terminology. A networking connection between two VPC that enables you to route traffic between them using private IPv4 address or IPv6 address. Instances in either VPC can communicate with each other as if they are within the same network. So we have just established the communication between these two. Correct. You can create a VPC pairing between your own VPC or with a VPC in another AWS account. That's what we talked about. So in this particular video, we just wanted to talk about the VPC pairing. In the next video, we'll be talking more in details about another properties, VPC transit gateway or something else. So stay tuned with the channel, subscribe to the channel, and we will come up with more technical content as well. So till the time, thank you, bye bye.